What is up, guys? Welcome to Sunny Gaming. If you want to help support the channel, then go ahead and hit those like and subscribe buttons, and don't forget to leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Today we're going to be checking out my first ever PvP build for the brand new Arcanist class. This new class just got added to the Elder Scrolls Online with Necrom, and will be making waves for its new mechanics and incredibly interesting playstyle. So let's get started with the core details. The race we're using here is the Orc, which is important because it increases our main resources, grants us passive healing, some extra damage, and most importantly increases our sprint speed. For our Munderstone, we're going with the Serpent. Now I usually go for the Lover, but we're already sitting at over 15k penetration, so I think a little bit more sustain is the way to go here. If you're in a good group who are keeping you prepared, then feel free to go some extra damage instead if you wish. Our food buff will be the Artaeum Takeaway Broth, which gives us a boost to all of our most important stats. If this is too rich for your blood though, go with the Dubious Cameron Throne, which is a lot more cost effective. It's important to carry a variety of potions for different scenarios, but I'm making use of this Essence of Speed mostly, which gives us major expedition, stamina return, and minor heroism. The speed in particular is very important. Next is our champion points. Starting in the warfare section, we have Master at Arms for direct damage, Thaumaturge for extra damage over time, Ironclad for direct damage mitigation, and Resilience for crit resistance. Over in the fitness section we have Rejuvenation for extra recoveries, Boundless Vitality for some more health, Fortified for a resistance boost, and Celerity for a much needed increase to our movement speed. Now that we've checked out the core details, let's move on to our gear, which is very specific. Our first set is Heartland Conqueror, which is my absolute favourite set for PvP that boosts our penetration and resistances by a huge amount depending on which bar we're on. Next up is the Master's Dual Wield set, which we're using on the front bar to buff our Rending Slashes skill. Using this set turns Rending Slashes into both a powerful damage over time effect and an excellent spammable as well, allowing us to apply a ton of pressure. On the back bar we use the Vatashran Ice Staff, which is a very important part of the build along with the front bar weapons. This turns our elemental susceptibility into a tether that continues to deal increasing damage over time. We make use of a monster set on this build. Masterlock boosts our uncharged heavy attack to deal a cone of disease damage over a short duration, which increases in potency for every negative effect we have on the enemy. These negative effects are easily stacked up with our skills, and this becomes incredibly powerful. One of the main focuses of this build is the Sea Serpent Coil, which grants us 40% damage mitigation when we are at full health, along with Major Courage and Major Berserk when we take damage, giving us a really massive amount of extra firepower. We do get a snare as a cost, but that's why we build in some speed. We use two one-piece items as well. One is an Armour of the Trainee piece, and the other is a Druid's Braid piece. These both boost our health with just one item, so it's a great way to boost our survivability. Now let's move on to our skills. On the front bar we have Rending Slashes, Rune of the Colourless Pool, Camouflaged Hunter, Tentacular Dread, Recuperative Treatise, and Sanctum of the Abyssal Sea. And on the back bar we have Elemental Susceptibility, Evolving Rune Mend, Resolving Vigour, Rune Guard of Freedom, Cruxweaver's Armour, and the Tide King's Gaze. Rending Slashes is an incredibly powerful skill. You slash with both weapons, which applies both enchantments if you're using them, or double the chance of poisons, and then applies a damage over time and the hemorrhaging effect as well. This is all boosted massively by the Master's Dual Wield set. Rune of the Colourless Pool is a ranged stun that applies minor brittle and minor vulnerability. That's two more negative effects to add to the hemorrhaging, snare, and poisons of Rending Slashes. We have Camouflaged Hunter to boost our crit chance and weapon damage, meaning that we don't need to get Major Savagery from our potions. Next up is Tentacular Dread, which is a great and versatile skill with surprising range. In addition to the damage and immobilization, we can consume our Crux in an offensive capacity to apply a stronger variant of this skill's negative effect. This Abyssal Ink increases the enemy's damage taken by a lot and further boosts the Masterlock proc. Recuperative Treatise is a great skill that powers up our other Arcanist skills with more damage, causes them to provide Crux if we have none available, and allows us to recover resources when using them as well. While slotted on either bar, we get Major Brutality, which means no potions necessary for that either. Sanctum of the Abyssal Sea allows us to get to the middle of our enemies with massively reduced damage, building up to dealing that damage back in spades in a wide area around us when the effect ends. Moving on to the back bar, Elemental Susceptibility is a very important skill to this build. Not only does it apply 3 different negative effects periodically, but it also activates the Vaterstrand staff to deal huge damage over time. Our primary heal is Evolving Rune Mend, which gives a burst triple heal, a heal over time, and is cheaper for each active crux. It also generates crux, which helps with our class mechanics. While Evolving Rune Mend makes for a great burst heal, Resolving Vigor allows us to gain a strong short heal over time as well. If you feel that you don't need it and your other heals are enough, then use this as a flex slot. We don't have Rune Guard of Freedom slotted for the minor resolve, although it is great to provide that to your group. We actually have it active for the emergency heal and immovability that we gain if we take damage at low health, which can absolutely save us in a tricky situation. Cruxweaver armor is our source of major resolve, and you must keep it up at all times. It also increases our penetration by applying minor breach to attackers and generates crux periodically as well. And finally, we have the Tide King's Gaze. This is a visually stunning ultimate that beams down a huge amount of damage on your opponent from above, following them if they move. Now, it's important to stun your opponent right after you cast this to ensure that they take the full force of its damage. And that should be all that you need to know to make your own Stamina Arcanist PvP build. It really is such an effective approach to the class in PvP and will definitely feel fun and smooth to play. Thanks very much guys. If you want to help support the channel, then don't forget to hit those like and subscribe buttons and drop your thoughts into the comment section below. Take care, and as always, have fun.